Last week I made a video titled Why I'm Shorting Nikola Stock, and in posting that video I received many comments such as these. Short interest has been declining. You're a little late shorting Nikola. One piece on good news and you'll be covering. Shorting a dangerous game unless you have the dollars to back it up. Comparing Lucid to Nikola is apples to oranges since they're both different in an industry. One makes cars and one makes Class 8 trucks. And I just wrote back, we'll see. And then I also received other comments such as this. Make sure to keep enough money aside to buy a tent when you go homeless. Now that begs the question, how did that Nikola position go? Well, let's go ahead and look at my closed trade on Fidelity here for the year of 2021. We scroll down here, and so far it's been my second best trade, and that trade produced $1,066 worth of profit in a very short amount of time. And so in this video, I wanted to reiterate my position, why I did this, where I'm looking to close and what I'm looking to do with that money that I just sold, and then also where I'm looking at moving forward. If you guys haven't checked it out already, go ahead and check out down below in the description. Get up to $50 for getting signed up with M1 Finance, free stocks with Robinhood, Webull, my Yada savings accounts, and my PayPal and Cash App, swag bucks, and credit card referrals. Check out all that stuff down below in the description. But anyways guys, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and subscribe down below, like the video if you enjoy this type of content, and let's go ahead and get started straight into Nikola stock. Now, we did close this out and it was a very profitable trade. But not only was it a profitable trade, it was shocking to see how quickly this took place. When I initially shorted my position, it was November 11th, and I shorted at 14.57. We pull up Webull here and we look at the 5-minute candlesticks. I shorted around this part of the stock chart right here, about 14.57 on 11.11, right as it was running up. Now, minutes, and I mean maybe 20 minutes after I made that trade, the stock started going down and it has not recovered since. Now, if we go over here and look to when I bought to close my position, it was November 19th at $11.91. Now, I ended up buying it back right down here at the end of the day, just yesterday. Now, this trade, from the moment I got into it, was just minutes afterwards in the green, and I shorted it and the company went down and down and down. And if you look at the price where I ended up closing my position at, I ended up closing my position at $11.91, and I shorted it at $14.57. So basically, in the matter of just a couple days, I was able to get an 18.25% return. I shorted it on the 11th and closed on the 9th, so in 8 days, I was able to produce an 18.25% return. And I want to go a step further from my hatred to Nikola that I produced in my last video, and maybe this will trigger some people or bring some hatred for some people that really like the stock and invest in it. And I'm gonna go as far as to say that this company is on its verge to bankruptcy. It's not gonna hit it this year. It's not gonna hit it next year. But within the next, let's put it this way, 5 years from now, at the end of 2026, I think that this company will either A, be bankrupt, or B, be on the brink of bankruptcy. I think that their stock price will be in the single digits, and I think that it has a long-term losing track record. Now, if you didn't see any of my previous videos, let me go ahead and explain why, just really briefly. If we go ahead and take a look here at the hyper charts, okay? This is their net income, quarter over quarter. This is not annual, this is not every year, this is in a 90-day period. So the first quarter of 2021, they lost $120 million, over $1 million a day. They then increased those losses the next year to $143 million. And then this quarter, those losses nearly doubled to $267 million. If you take 267 and divide by 90, they're losing almost exactly $3 million a day as of their most recent earnings report. These are massive losses for a company that's not very well capitalized. Let's go ahead and take a look at their balance sheet. Okay? Let's look at quarterly, let's look at the most recent update. As of the end of the most previous quarter, they only had about $586 million. And that doesn't include the fact that this company is about to hand $125 million to the SEC, and that doesn't factor in the future losses that this company will experience. And let's go ahead and take a look at those estimated future losses. If we go to the analysis tab on Yahoo Finance here, you might be thinking to yourself, Jordan, I want to buy Nikola now. They might be losing money now, that's okay, but maybe those losses are going to get smaller in the future and maybe one day even turn a profit. Well, let's look to see what analysts think whether or not this company will be profitable within the next year. If you look in 2020, they produced negative 0.62 in earnings per share. So is that going to get better or worse? Well, this year it's going to get worse, and so far it has been. it goes from negative 0.62 to negative 0.85. Okay, well maybe it'll get better next year. Well, next year they're expected to do negative $1. Those losses are expected to go up, what is that? That's about 20% higher. And so the losses that we're seeing today are actually expected to increase. We could see a point where this company quarter over quarter could start losing 3, 4. Who knows, maybe even a point where they're losing $500 million a quarter. A quarter, that's crazy, right? And now let's go ahead and go back here and see how are they funding these operations? How are they able to continually lose hundreds of millions of dollars and still operate? Well, they're diluting shareholders. They just received a $600 million investment from Stone Capital, and this is how they're funding their operations. They're diluting shareholder value. And so if you're believing that one day this company will turn a profit, and you're right, if I'm wrong and they're able to turn a profit one day, you're going to be diluted so many times that the percentage of the company that you own will be so small that any profits that are dished around to investors are going to be so minute that it's pretty much going to be irrelevant. And so basically, to go over once again with Nikola, I think that it is just a horrible company. I don't believe in them one bit, and I think that a lot of times it's really funny because anytime I post a video, it doesn't matter how smart or how stupid the decision I'm making is, people are always going to throw hate on it. It doesn't matter what I invest in. I could invest in the best stock in the country. I could have it produce 500% returns over the next 12 months, and people would still call me an idiot, still call me a child, still think that I don't know what I'm doing in the stock market. But if we look at my track record and we go to my performance over since going back to when I first started my Fidelity portfolio, we started with 30,000 and that has steadily increased to 37,000 just in the last few months, and that doesn't even count the performance track record that I've had with M1 Finance and Robinhood and things like that. And so now looking at my closed positions through Fidelity, I have almost exactly $5,000 worth of gains. And if you add up the gains that I have this year through my other brokerages like M1 Finance and Robinhood, I think this year we should be sitting somewhere around probably somewhere between $8,000 to $10,000, probably edging up towards 10 now that I think about it. But regardless, this is just something that I wanted to show out to investors, and I wanted to get a little sneak peek for the next video. I think that the electric vehicle sector in general has really skyrocketed. And one thing that's interesting here is that if we go to my closed position and we go to the search tab and we search the ticker symbol LCID, Lucid, I have a closed position with Lucid. And what this is I have some puts sold that I just had expired where I generated $274. Now, if we go over to my Fidelity investments, I have 200 shares short of Lucid, and I'm gonna share exactly with you in the next video why I'm doing this and how I expect to generate some massive income over the next couple weeks or a month or two, and how I expect to close this position out for a big gain. And stay tuned because I think I'm going to make a lot more money off this trade because I committed a lot more capital than I did on my Nikola position. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go ahead and check out the links down below in the description if you haven't already. Get up to $50 for getting signed up with M1 Finance. But other than that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.